Hey guys, Clayton here from CACCIA Outdoors. Today what I'm doing is changing my sight tape. So when I bought this bow last summer, I had the experts over at Lodi Archery set it up for me. They did a great job. And you can see the sight I'm working with here. It's a CBE. These are the specs on it, the Tech Hybrid Pro. It's a 3-pin, and he put the number 6 sight on it. And as you can see, I've already changed it out, but I'm gonna show you guys the process I went through to get it done. So anyways, I hope you learned something from it. And if you have any questions, let us know. Up to about 50 yards, my sight is really accurate. However, once I get beyond 50 yards, I noticed that actually it starts at about 50 yards. My arrows are dropping. So what I need to do is I need to change this sight tape right here. So I have, I believe, 13 different sight tapes. So what I'm gonna do is, you can see I have 100 down here, 20 at the top. My pins are set for 20, 30, and 40. So if I wanna shoot 100 yards or anything between 40 and 100, what I'll do is I'll release the tension right here, and then I can just twist from the back, I'm trying to do this with one hand, and drop my sight accordingly. So if I want to shoot at 70, and bam, there's 70. However, like I said, with the weight of my arrows and all that stuff, the combination, I need to use a different sight tape. So today my goal is to figure out what sight tape I need to use. I'm thinking maybe an 8 or 9. At 100 yards, my arrows are dropping a good probably 12 to 14 inches. They're really consistent. They're just low. My one concern is that when I pull up my arrow rest here, you can see there's not much space, especially when I get down to 100, between the arrow here and the bottom of the sight over there. So I'm gonna hit the field and see what I can do. I picked a bad day to do this. It's windy, it's rainy, and I'll be shooting at 100, but hey, it's what time I have. So my greatest concerns are realized. So you can see the lack of space I have right there between my sight and my fletchings. My fletchings are actually taller than my sight from this angle. So I may be limited in my shooting to, once I get the new sight tape set up, to 80 or 90 yards. All right guys, so with the lack of space between my arrow when it's knocked and the bottom of my sight right here, what I'm gonna have to do is, I was hoping to work with 100 yards on my sight tape right there. However, because of the lack of space, my fletchings are gonna hit the bottom of my sight. So I'm gonna work with 90. So what I'm gonna do is, normally I would set my sight to 90 to shoot. However, like I was telling you, the arrows are dropping. So what I'm going to do is move my sight down to 95 and start there. If I'm hitting on target at 90 yards with my sight tape, with my pin set to 95, I'll know that that's the sight tape I can use. Whatever 90 is on the new sight tape, I'll know that's the right sight tape for my setup. So I'm going to go shoot at 90 with my pin. I'm shooting at 90 yards with my pin set to 95. So we'll see if I can hit it on center. All right, so I just shot 2 arrows at 90 yards with my pin set to 95. So let's go see where they fell. Okay, so as you can see, not bad. I've got a pretty heavy wind today, so that's probably why I've got some arrow drift. Looks like I'm about 4 inches on this arrow and, I don't know, 7 or 8 inches on the right arrow, but I'm pretty close. They're still shooting a touch low. So what I'll do is probably set my sight to 96 and then find a sight tape that matches that. So again, I'm shooting at 90 yards, but my sight was set to 95. Not too bad, just a little bit of right drift, but pretty close to center. All right, so I have moved my pin marker, I don't know if you can see that very well, it's pretty small, to 96. And I'm gonna find the tape. I'm gonna start with the number 8. So I have a 6 on there right now. So that is my number 8.
and that is really close. I think number 8 is going to be the sight tape I will need, because where my pin is set right now, that's right at 90 on the number 8 tape, which is exactly what I need. So I'm going to swap it to a number 8, try a couple more shots, and see if I'm good.
So there's probably a more scientific way to do this, and I'm sure some of you guys have more experience with it, but honestly, it gets me out here in the range, interacting with my bow, and it's just more fun. I have a sight gauge tool that came with my sight. I'm shooting a CBE 3-pin, but this works really good. So let's go see where those arrows fell. At 90 yards, so apparently there wasn't as much wind as the first time I shot, because I shot a little to the left to compensate for it. So that's why I'm a couple inches off. But pretty decent group for 90 yards, especially the first time with the new sight tape. So this one's pretty much dead center, the bottom arrow here. Top one is like 4 inches high, 4.5 inches high. But I think with a little practice, I can just make my groups pretty tight. That was the first go around with it. So yeah, pretty good. I got my number 8 sight tape on, and I'm ready to go now. So in case you guys are wondering what I'm shooting, I have a Hoyt Redworks RX1 Ultra, and I am shooting the Gold Tip Hunters. These are my practice arrows. GPI is 9.3, spine is 300. Now, I will be changing arrows soon, trying out a new brand, so we'll see how that goes, but for now, this is what I have.